Lesson 20. The strongest force within a human being is to remain consistent with how we define ourselves. I got this from a guy called Tony Robbins, and it made a lot of sense to me. And what this means is that you have an image of yourself and you're not going to deviate far from that. Now, sometimes with that self-image, it's obvious. We understand it. We know what we are. We know what we want. We know how we turn up. And that's fine. That's fantastic. But in a lot of cases, it's unconscious. It's been installed in us by our parents from many years ago, from our childhoods. And we have this unconscious image of ourselves and we don't deviate from that. So if you find yourself doing things that are quite bizarre and you think, and it's not obvious to everybody else, it's usually because you're not deviating from that self-image, which could be negative. It could be something you're fearful of, but it's unconscious. And a way to uncover that is to ask yourself the question. Just get yourself a pen and paper and write down, how do I see myself? Who am I? Asking yourself questions like this will reveal potentially something that could be quite negative. And then you want to challenge that, because usually if we are acting in some bizarre way or a negative way, it's usually because we fear being something. And when we look and we question, we realize that it could well be something that's been installed many years ago that's no longer relevant to you. And by asking yourself that question, it could reveal that. But if you're not getting where you want to go, if you're not achieving your objectives, if you're not fulfilled in your life, and you're repeating some negative patterns of self-sabotage, it's usually because you've got an unconscious self-image that's negative. And you keep getting snapped back and you're taking 3 steps forward and 2 back. And it's not till we look that we can see. And we can deal with this, right? It can be dealt with. And it's just doing things like journaling, writing down your thoughts, how you're feeling, what happens when this self-sabotage behavior turns up. Some daily affirmations can overcome some of these negative self-images that we may have of ourselves. Looking back on childhood trauma that may have been there. You may have been bullied, or you had quite a tough upbringing. And these things, you can get molded. I mean, mine was really straightforward because I was treated differently to my brother. My stepmother wasn't particularly kind to us, and I had a self-image of I wasn't worthy, so I didn't bother. And for many, many years, I got stuck in that pattern of self-sabotage. And it wasn't until I got to my early 20s, I realized that this pattern was destructive. And it was instilled into me by other people by saying, you're not worthy, you're not going to reach your potential because you can't be bothered, and certain things they used to say to me. And if you can relate to this, then you need to look back, write some stuff down and ask yourself, is this true? It's not till we question it, we realize that what people thought of us when we were younger isn't who we are today. So, pen and paper, write some stuff down, journal on a daily basis, take a look, self-reflection, question it, affirmations, and the combination of these things together can have a dramatic effect on how you show up. So until next time.